priorities mo yun in life, no? Some people financially, mga ganyan, career growth. For me, I define success as, when you are contented and happy with what you have, with what God gave you, and you're not hurting any people, you're following, the greater commission that God gave us to all of us. For me, success is like that. So for me, I feel successful because I have my loved ones with me. I'm contented with my life. Well, as a moment, yeah. And I think ginagamit din ako ni Lord as His instrument, to spread love to everyone. That's
Yes,
what success for
and you are actually blessed in every way.
Success probably look like when you finally have the time to do something else other than work and you're enjoying it. You don't feel guilty because you already know that you've done your part. That's success to me. And the biometrics would be that for over, oh my, this question actually made me reflect to the time where I started and to think about it. I've been involved in a prosecutor's office, criminal defense, a firm. I've been part of that. Immigration, I served in the immigration firm. I represented men in uniform. I represented children. I advocated for them. I've been involved in the policy making. That's before going to the mediation or focusing in mediation practice. I've been involved in policy making. I was part of passing a law about education and scholarships because goodness, if it's not for scholarship, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be here. It really helps. So that's quite something to think about also. What else? So that I can share for now.
Wow, data matrix. To me, success is, especially after the pandemic, no? We have come to many profound realizations that peace of mind is more important than anything else, that harmonious relationships will result in peace of mind. So to me, my metrics, I would say it's that sense of fulfillment, and that at the end of the project, you're more energized, you're more motivated to level up, and you have that constant excitement to conduct the next session, to design the next program.
That's right. So,
especially with one challenge now, of course, because of ayan, nag-pause yata. I was going to say that during the pandemic, most rates have gone down because everyone was doing it online.
it was more challenging to study, right, during that pandemic environment.
True. And cost-wise, it's not so good for providers because you have to slash the rates. You're not going to the venue anyway. You don't need that much preparation. The paperwork is not necessary. Everything is conducted online. Now, when it was very difficult to pull up the rates back to how it was, how they were prior to the pandemic. So that's the adjustment. You have to learn to live within your means and hustle some more and give your best all the time. Make sure that your programs and delivery in terms of facilitation are exceptional so that you can have more repeat and referral clients.
For me, success, cliche as it may sound, it's not an end goal. For me, you're successful if you're doing your utmost every day. Because if you view success as an end goal, then at a certain point, once you reach a particular level, you say, okay, I attained success. But for me, you become successful by being very consistent on a daily basis. And you don't stop learning at a certain level. Like for now, I'm taking up my master's, my second master's now with public security administration. And then I'm sure in the future, I would want to pursue further learning, enhance whatever skills that, God has given me so that I may be able to contribute and give back to the community.
You are indeed very productive and fruitful, and I can attest to that over the years of being good friends with you.
When it came to US, right? I mean, I don't have much equity, so it's like you only have little cash, I would say. But because of the career that I have, I was able to grow that equity. Right? Not only just cash, but I have some property that I was able to buy and able to invest. And with that, you'll be able to get some passive income, right? However, really the most important part of that career that I have on my journey was not really just, building that equity that I have, but having some sort of a network, expanding some of the, people that right? It's getting more friends out there. Right, because for me, I mean, a success is not just having a financial gain, right? You should have some sort of a strong community and basically a support system. Right now, in this reason we're here because we build this, right? We continue to have this relationship, even though we don't talk too much, but at least we have this group. Not only with my elementary group, my college group, and my alumni group, and so on. So, and then the people that work with my industry too. So, that gives you some sort of meaningful connections, right? In addition, being trusted and relied upon by your colleagues because of what you know and your skills. I mean, that's really help me out on that situation. So,
And yeah, so in that regard, you are very blessed in every way.
Okay, so let me just put something forward, okay? And this is a caveat that whatever metrics I share, again, I don't claim, full credit for this. If I share something, that sounds, oh, that's a great achievement. Again, this is not, just my own effort. It's a team effort. But I think my job was I planted the seeds. You said you were in ASEC 2012, I was there 2013, and during the time, you probably wouldn't see a decent post on Facebook or a decent post on Twitter. None, zero. Okay, but when I started, I single-handedly manage our Facebook account, and then transition into a more decent Twitter account. So I stopped this auto push. Because whatever gets published on the website becomes the content of the Twitter, and that's not how it works, right? So I stopped that practice, and then I came up with fresh content. I was doing it single-handedly. In ASEC, we don't have that many staff, right? Everyone has to juggle with so many things. So I started creating or even putting into motion a plan, a framework for how we will do our social media. So we came up, with some content planning activities. We came up with branding, and we came up with the voice. Like how are we gonna speak, as an organization, and make sure that we have those. So what I'm saying is, I planted the seeds, and then, of course, somebody had to nurture, somebody had to, cultivate, water the seeds, and let them grow. And so I think what I've done is, yeah, I did that, and now we can see the flowering, we can see the blooming of all that we did. So where are we at right now? Well, now ASEAN Facebook has what? Nearly 1 million followers, 883,000, and if you compare it with other regional organizations, for example, ASEAN has more, you know, uh, followers, for example. On Twitter, we have 182,000. Instagram, we have 145,000 followers. LinkedIn, nearly 100,000. In total, it's about 1.3 million altogether. If you combine all of this, that's 1.3. And then if you look at the surveys that have been done, of course, previously I wasn't with ASEC, but the first survey that was that awareness survey was in 2007, followed by 2014, and then we had one in 2018. Okay, the last survey, and we can see the progression was slow. Like I think there's almost a universal knowledge about the term ASEAN. I think it's like 95 or 97% of all the sample. But if you dig deeper, like, do you really know what ASEAN is doing? Very few people, know that. But I think in the last survey, we've made some progression. I think it's a few points higher than the last one. So if for example, when the question, do you know the three pillars of ASEAN was asked, I think before only, let's say, 60% or below can correctly say. I think now it has moved a few points higher. So again, I'm not saying this is all because of the work that I did or my team did, because it's always a team effort. But I think if you put all of these efforts together, you see some progression. So there you go. I hope this trend will continue until ASEAN becomes, as ordinary, as like the soft drinks that people drink, or something like that.
Congratulations on that very successful endeavor. I know it's a very hard task to do and a commendable feat indeed. So we have to give you a round of applause and a pat in the back for that very hard work that you did for over a decade for ASEAN Secretariat. So,
what does success mean to me? I haven't thought a lot about that question in the last couple of years, because I actually want to question the idea of success. Because a lot of us measure what we want to do, what we want to pursue by way of accomplishing some things. I think that's the mainstream understanding of what success means. Having like a lot of titles to your name seems to be like what success means to a lot of people. Reaching other shores seem to be like a success measure for other people. But I'm still in that process of questioning and interrogating, is that really what success looks like? Okay, I have left my very small town to a bigger town, to a bigger town, to a more bigger town. Is that success? I don't know. I think success means, for me, success means that I have helped someone reach their goals. I'm not a career coach or anything. It felt now I'm feeling like it's as if I am a career coach. I'm not, but I feel that in everything that I do, that is sort of like grafted in my process. That is sort of what is the term for that? Like I include that in my process of things, mainly because I was helped by a lot of people, and also mainly because I felt there were also a lot of spaces where I didn't find help, where I was marginalized by virtue of being, being poor or being, and when my incomes were better, being of a different racial heritage and so on and so forth. And so I feel that success for me is using my work to really tell stories about and support those who are not in the mainstream. Not so much to be included in the so-called table, but to change the table, to upend the table and create new ways of relating, new ways of community caring. And that would also talk about, it would also relate to our concerns in the Philippines against, against exploitation of our resources, against inequity, and other forms of injustices. So I don't have like a metric. I have a CV that can be very long, but and sometimes it's also, when I moved to Canada, one of the things that I realized is we are actually in the Philippines, we don't necessarily introduce ourselves out there and say, this is my CV, it's very long. But not only the CV, but we don't necessarily, we frown on people who it's very long. It's a very long pause, but we sometimes, like in the Philippines, like we are not very straightforward in saying what our strengths are. But in Canada, what I have realized is you have to go out into the world and carry your own wagon, and not in an arrogant way, but truly realizing what you have and what you can do. And that is a learning for me. Like I thought anything that would be sharing about your accomplishments would mean arrogance. But I realized that you can actually embrace what you have accomplished, but not being arrogant at the same time. I don't know if I can answer your question. Sorry, I should be on point, but I trust that you can edit all of those.
So that's your metric. That's how you define success, and that's yours.
I don't really have a lot of that, but I definitely need to do the research. The reason being is that I can actually get all of that from the different websites. In fact, Facebook will have insights, Instagram will have insights, and of course, the ticket sales that I've had and the submissions. Right now, I'm not able to. Maybe our next interview. But the reason why, thank you for reminding me about that question, because they said that to find sponsors in the future, because I haven't gotten big sponsorship yet. Maybe because of this, because of the research I'm gonna do and show it to them, I can attract them. They say you need to show the metrics. So that's an assignment that you gave me. I guess next time I can share you that information. But rest assured, I can definitely tell you that in the future. But what happened is people are, it's not normal times yet. In fact, here in New York, restaurants close at 10. During normal times before the pandemic, the kitchens here will close at 1. So that's my basis of everything is not normal yet. These film festivals, we're trying to get them to go back to theaters. Part of my film festival is still going to be online, because I get excited if someone from Australia, Dubai, or Saudi Arabia watches films within our film festival. I'm still doing that. but I do the live screenings and the live awards night. So we're definitely still doing that. So those are the things. I guess I gave you a winded question about that, but that's my answer to your question.
Personally, of course, the metric of the institute is the one that is on the more uh, global, could say, standard because of certain accreditation bodies that govern, saying, okay, this is a business school of high quality and world class standard. So the metrics there we provide, of course, include placements of students, how many of those looking for jobs are actually able to look for jobs within 6 months from their graduation time, what positions are they holding, and if any salary increases are being reported, by how much percentage. So that's the metric in career services typically. There's also the flip side of how many company partnerships were you able to develop, on a yearly basis, maybe on a long term, if people also want to see progress. And if not to increase the number, but also the quality of collaborations being completed in a year's time. Because all these contribute to student success when it comes to them being able to be matched with 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 employment. And for the student side, they also evaluate the type of work that we do, all the services, the tools and technologies that they are able to utilize and that are, you could say, subscribe. The institute is subscribed to that is exclusively available to them. So with that, they evaluate, they give also a rating for our assurance of learning to reflect back to us so we can do better next time. We can maintain something that they find really um, productive and useful and helpful for them in the life. I hope that answers that question of the
Yes.
metric.
This question has always been asked to me, right? Like I've been part of, like interviews or young people or even my students would ask me, what does success look like for me? Well, for me, I would like to say, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than myself. Success is not just me getting, all these acknowledgments, all this recognition, uh, whether, whether financially or in terms of reputation, in terms of all this, degrees and recognition, no? I mean, qualifications. So recently, I've become an assessor of the ASEAN. So as ASEAN is implementing a regional certification standard for disaster management, and I am an assessor in that certification program of ASEAN. So I mean, all of these things, like what we call feathers on our cap, right? So all these feathers on our cap, all this um, like recognition by different people, different groups of people, different sectors, that's fine. And I think it's important, it's important that we have the recognition of our peers, right? That means that you are making a difference, right? So you're not just, it's not just for your self glorification, that you're doing all of this, that you want to achieve all of this, but it's because uh, you want to make a difference, and that this, the communities, the cities, municipalities, countries that you're actually helping recognize that effort, your contribution in trying to make a better place for everyone. So for me, that's one metric, right? The recognition of your peers, their acknowledgement, their appreciation of your contribution to the field, more than the financial things, more than the economic, returns of doing this kind of work. Of course, that's also very important because that makes us more, available, right? So, like for me, for example, I still work with um, Asian Institute of Management um, as a faculty member of the Executive Education School, even though I'm no longer full time, and I provide that kind of leadership and guidance for those who actually need that kind of training. So sometimes, because as you know, AIM may be expensive in terms uh, of tuition fee, but in the training, in the executive education and lifelong learning school, we can help those who are, may not be able to enroll in the degree program, and to this um, smaller programs. I mean, shorter programs in disaster risk management. So I can still do that. So I like doing that. Helping people, helping future leaders, or molding future leaders in disaster and climate resilience. So that's the way I look at it. Like at the stage in my career already, like many young people are already there to take your place. They're already ready to take your place, and I recognize that. So I would like to impart my experience, my expertise, my knowledge to the new generation of leaders in climate and disaster resilience. And I think one metric would be making sure that there will be new generations of young people who will take your place, because we will not be here forever.
100%.
That's my metric.
Passing on the torch to the next generation, right?